Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 9, Part 3 of this dreaded reunion. I'm like, okay, the reunion was a little bit better tonight than it has been the last two parts, but I still contend that there was no reason for this reunion to be 4 parts, and they actually could have just started out with what went down tonight and we could be through with this damn reunion by now. But before we get started, let me say thank you. I reached 200 subscribers today and I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, am I ever going to make it to 200? So thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so today. It would be greatly appreciated. So the show opened up and we had Bob, Todd, and Peter were out on the stage, and so Bob basically said that there's really no words or no apology that he could give that could excuse his behavior, and that having Sheree back in his life was really important to him, and that he realizes now that instead of having Sheree by his side all these years, that he kind of like had her in the background, and that he should have respected her more. And then Sheree said that you know, apologies are just words, but she did feel the sincerity in what he was saying. Although she's heard it before, this time she thinks that there is some sincerity in it. And then I think Andy asked her, you know, would they ever get back together? And she didn't say no, they wouldn't get back together, but she said at the moment they're not there yet. So it seemed like the door is still open for Bob to make his way back in. So when Andy asked the other people on the stage what did they think about Bob, Peter said that he was sickened by the whole thing, and that had he been there, he would have punched Bob in the face and kept punching him in the face. So I'm thinking to myself, no, Peter, I don't think you would have done that, because Bob is probably like 2 feet taller than you and a hell of a lot bigger than you. So you need to pipe down with that. And then I thought it was nice that Kandi said that, you know, she was surprised, you know, by Bob's behavior, but sometimes you have to see yourself at your worst in order to realize that you have a problem and make a change in your life. So I thought that was a good thing that she said. Then it went over to Cynthia and Peter, and Peter says that he talks to Nicole more than he talks to Cynthia. And I'm thinking, like, why are you talking to either one of them? Like, you guys need to just sever ties and go on about your business. So if you wants to know if Cynthia would please just go ahead and admit that her and Peter had sex in Maui, but they insist that they did not, even though all of the cast members believe that they did. And Peter says that if he can't have all of Cynthia, then he doesn't want any part of her. So he says that they have not slept together. But neither one of them never said, no, we didn't. They kind of like talked around the whole conversation. And then Cynthia says that it wasn't just one thing that broke her and Peter up, but she said that when they started having problems, that she began to resent Peter, and she was never able to pull herself back. And, you know, even when things started getting better, she just still resented him. And then I'm going to be honest with you, I walked out of the room for a few minutes, and when I came back, I think their little segment was over with. So then we went on. Oh, Peter did acknowledge that he does have someone special in his life, and that he still loves Cynthia and will always love Cynthia. And I'm thinking, like, if I'm the new woman, I would have an issue with my man saying that he still loves his ex-wife and will always love her. I think Peter just planted a seed that he may not be able to overcome in this new relationship. So then it goes over to Kandi, and it was really brief, and she basically said that so far Block has been staying in contact with Riley, and that just this past weekend, or you know, the weekend before the taping of the reunion, that the two of them hung out together. And then Todd was asked his opinion, and I think he said something about he was skeptical of Block, but, you know, the fact that Block is stepping up, you know, that he won't come between that whole situation. Then we move over to Porsha, and Andy asked about her and Todd, and she says that they are off again and that Todd has gotten a job in DC, but I guess they're still in contact with each other, and that he's been texting her, you know, throughout the reunion and giving his support and, you know, telling her to be strong and everything. And so Peter seems to have some real issues because, like, when Porsha and Phaedra were talking, he was like mumbling and whispering to Cynthia, and then he kind of like made a jab at Phaedra about, I think when Porsha, they were talking about Porsha and that damn baby nut that she was trying to get Todd to sign. And then Andy asked Phaedra, you know, about the advice that she gave to Porsha about having a baby. And so then Phaedra was basically saying that, you know, she wants Porsha to do it the right way, you know, to find a husband and get married and make sure she has a stable marriage before, you know, she tries to have a baby, that she doesn't think that any woman should purposely become a single mother. And then Peter was like, well, you got married, it didn't work out with you. And then Phaedra was like, but I still did it the right way. And when I had my kids, you know, we did get married and all of this stuff. But then he was like mumbling. And then Porsha started talking. And then Peter just got up and walked away and thought he didn't want to hear the lies. And I'm just like, okay, this whole damn reunion was so staged and so damn phony. I can't even believe I made it through the whole episode. But moving right along, because we all know that Peter needs to get a life, and Andy needs to let him know that only the women on the show can get a peach, and that no matter how basic he acts and how dramatic he is and how feminine he is acting, that he ain't getting no peach. So Peter, just go on back to North Carolina and chill the hell out. So after Peter walked off the stage, Andy said, well, then I guess we need Todd and Bob to leave too, since Peter has left. And did anybody notice that when Peter was in the back, he was obviously drunk or high or something, but he gave his he took the jacket off that he had on stage and gave it to this guy. So I'm like, okay, so did they have to provide him with like a wardrobe, or, you know, he put on his own jacket to leave? I don't know what was going on with Peter. But anyway, before Bob and Todd left, Andy did tell Bob that he looked like he had lost some weight. So I think Bob did look a little different on the show. So maybe he is kind of thinning down, but he still seemed to be sweating a lot. So I don't know what that's all about. Then they brought Shamea out. So Shamea comes out and they address the whole Sheree and these bones comments. And so Porsha and Shamea, you know, they haven't spoken since the episode. I think Porsha said it was the episode where the whole thing where Phaedra was saying that Shamea was sleeping with all these different people and that her and Kandi had had a relationship with each other. So Sheree says that she thinks Phaedra throws the most shade behind everybody's back than anybody else. So then they had like a bunch of back and forth, and okay, so anyway, Porsha apologizes to Shamea, but as she's trying to apologize to Shamea, here comes Kenya with her stupidity. And so then her and Porsha get into this back and forth, and then Kenya wants to make comments about the anger management. Like, girl, we are so over the damn anger management stuff, and we need you to be over it. And then Kenya, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Kenya crossed her legs, and then it like showed all of her thigh, and her damn legs were so ashy. Looked like she had just got out the swimming pool and laid out in the sun for a few hours. And I mean, just ashy and wrinkly and dry looking, like what nothing sexy going on about them thighs. And she just kept turning and twisting so you could see that damn split and see her legs. And I'm thinking she probably looking at the reunion tonight going, oh my God, I looked a hot damn mess on that show. So anyway, Andy told Kenya to shut the hell up and let Porsha finish with her apology. So when Porsha finished apologizing to Shamea, Shamea accepted the apology, and then I guess that wasn't good enough for Kandi, because then she decided to throw some gasoline on the simmering coals as they were trying to go out, and so the flames blew up again. So then that was Shamea's cue to start talking trash about Porsha, you know, and Phaedra and their whole friendship. And I just came to the conclusion that if this was real, if any of this was real, and we know that it wasn't, but in real life, all of this, the root cause of all of this would be that everybody's jealous of Phaedra and Porsha's friendship. And so then Andy asked about the friendship and did they think the friendship was real. And then Kandi said that they don't have a true friendship, that they have an alliance, and that the two of them have just decided to stick together no matter what, and then it'll be them against all the other girls. And I'm thinking, like, Kandi, that was just so stupid and petty, because y'all are grown-ass women, so why does anybody need to form an alliance to be a part of a group? And it just really just highlighted how it is time for Real Housewives of Atlanta to go on off the air. Like, it has run its course, and these women have no storylines. They have nothing to talk about, and that really is the basis of this whole damn season. They had to make up some storylines and make up this big ass story to make the show even remotely interesting. But by the end of the season, like, nobody cared, and it's like coming back up again at the reunion. Like, who cares? So anyway, moving right along. So then Shamia and Phaedra get to throwing jabs at each other and making, you know, wisecracks, throwing shade. It was just so ridiculous and just was not the business. Like, I don't know if Shamia is trying to get a peach, like if she wants to be a main character on the show. I hope they paid her good for all of this, because it just really served no point for her to be. Well, it did serve a purpose for her to be there, because then I guess her being there sets the stage for Porsha and Phaedra and the big blow up that allegedly happens, you know, so Porsha could have a friend there to comfort her while all of this was going on. So what else did we have? So then when, you know, Shamia got to talking about, you know, the rumors, and that brought the whole conversation back up. Then Kandi, you know, gets all emotional and loud and going back and forth about the kissing and licking of the box and all that. And Phaedra told, well, Kandi said that the reason she was so upset about the whole thing was because she felt like they were attacking her marriage when, you know, all the rumors came up. And then she admitted, you know, Andy forced the issue and asked her, you know, how many times has she been with another woman? And she said that it was more than one woman, but it's been less than 10 times that she's hooked up with another woman. And then Porsha, as the two of them get to arguing, Porsha, you know, insists that she may have kissed Kandi, but she wasn't trying to lick Candy's box. And then Kandi was like, yes, you did. You did want to go down on me. And then they were talking about Porsha invited them back to the hotel, and then Porsha said she didn't invite them back to the hotel, and then she kind of like squashed it when she told Kandi that she could smell her stank twat from on the dance floor, so there was no way she was going to put her face down there. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so damn crazy. So then a viewer wrote in and said that, you know, she was offended by the whole, the way the ladies talk about being a lesbian, and that they talk about it like it's a dirty thing. And then they tried to bring up some, Porsha, I guess, was preaching at a church or something. And I've heard this before, but I've never researched it. But I guess Porsha did a sermon where she was talking about, homosexuality, and about, you know, people who are gay need to repent and turn to Christ and ask for forgiveness or something like that. But Porsha says that she's evolved, and that as society has changed their views on homosexuality, so has she. So she kind of like squashed that in the butt. So what else? Oh, and then Porsha said something about her journalism skills, and then the lady started laughing, and then Andy said, oh, you call yourself a journalist? And then Porsha kind of shut that down too, because she says that on the dish they do report on the news, even though they, you know, be silly on the show, and so they have to research and make sure that the information that they're putting out is true and accurate. So that is a form of journalism. So I said, okay, well, go ahead, Miss Porsha. So that was pretty much it. And then when the show came to the end, it was when Andy was trying to get Porsha to talk about the whole accusation about Todd Todd and Kandi wanting to drug her, to have sex with her. And then Porsha said that Kandi had issued a cease and desist order against her, so she couldn't talk about, you know, any of that stuff or what was said. But she would turn it over to Phaedra, because Phaedra was the one that told her the secret, or told her that Kandi had said whatever was said about the drugs. And I was thinking like, oh, this is just too much. And I mean, at this point, I really think that all of this is made up, and all these theatrics and running off the stage and crying. Like, if they had a Emmy award for acting on reality show, I think that the cast would have got a nomination and a win for this season, because it was just too much. And then the only other thing I have is I tried to watch what happens live next, because Nene was going to be on there, and it just really just made me remember that I'm sick of Nene. And I don't understand why Andy just gives her such a platform to talk about the show and to talk about, you know, the people on the show, because she's not objective at all. And of course, you know, she just wanted to put Phaedra and Porsha down and act like everybody else is wonderful and great. And anyway, one more episode, guys. So, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Rate the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. And everybody have a great week, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.